Hi there, welcome to C&T Collectibles. I am C, and this is 3 Up and 3 Down, where we look at the top 3 risers and fallers in baseball card land over the past week, and then we'll hop over, and that's on CardLadder, and then we'll hop over to StarStock and see what, if anything, we should be doing with some players that performed well on the actual diamond over the past 7 days or so. I'm sorry, this is usually a Monday thing, but the timing worked out a little bit better for me to do this today. I hope you are doing well. Let's get after it here. Ken Griffey Jr., your number 3 faller for the week, down 46%. This is the score traded. Sorry, Steve. Your guys keep getting hit here. So anyways, trend remains down and has broken its longer-term uptrend here. So it wouldn't surprise me to see a little bit of a purchase action here. But again, the trend overall does remain down on that Ken Griffey Jr. Walker Buehler, I will take partial credit on this one, but not really. So your number 3 riser for the week, up 141% with a couple of monster moves. I looked at this one in the Friday chart show and said, hey, it looks like the bottom of the range, but who cares? It's a pitcher. So yes, bottom of the range, but obviously people care about pitchers. And so big move for Walker Buehler in the PSA 10 Topps Chrome update. So I'm not sure, what did he do over the past couple of days? Anything huge? So I haven't looked that closely at him. Aaron Judge, your number 2 faller for the week, down 47. That should be percent. You get what you pay for here. So top of the range coming off a little bit. We've seen this one before. Just wild mood swings on this one. So very thinly traded stuff. Middle of the range, probably not much to do here. So, but if it gets lower to that $70, $80 level, and you like Aaron Judge, then consider that card. Pete Alonso. This sale was actually yesterday, so the home run boost continues. So he did that initial move. This is the Bowman draft, the Chrome and the PSA 9, so not his base card, which was up quite a bit as well, but gave all that back, as it typically happens here. So this one, again, thinly traded, so wouldn't be surprised to see it come back a bit, but he really is having a pretty nice season, and I think there's an interesting, again, not a long-term relevance track for him, but could he be a guy that has some pretty amazing seasons in terms of the long ball, and he's cut his strikeouts down? Sure, absolutely. So, all right, our number 1 faller for the week, Fernando Tatis Jr., the gold update. Batting pose, I think there's a PSA 8, not a lot of action on this one, but down 50%. So it doesn't take much for someone to come in and move this one around. But we did look at his, the past few weeks, his Topps Chrome update in a PSA 10 and notice it was breaking trend as well. So perhaps the update cards are going to slide a little bit as attention turns back towards the regular base card. So number 1 riser for the week, Blaze Jordan. I don't know why. Up 208% autograph. It was kind of funny. I was going to throw him in the Friday show just for the purpose. I like to throw in like a weird card and just make the point that CardLadder doesn't have Xander Bogaerts in their database, but they do have Blaze Jordan, and he's up quite a bit. So there's your CardLadder risers and fallers. Let's scoot over to Fangraphs and talk about some players of the week. All right, and we'll start it off with Enrique Hernandez, who over the past week, the Red Sox are just on fire here. So 10 for 33, 3 home runs, 8 ribbies, and 7 runs scored. So this is a 29-year-old, almost 30-year-old with 10 wins to his name. So as far as hobby relevance, if you like him, that's fine. But as far as making money, all that kind of stuff, it's going to be quick hits. He's going to have a hot streak, and then that's what you play on. And with that said, there's just not a lot of info on him on StarStock, so we'll just move on to Pete Alonso, who also had a very nice week. 12 for 35, 4 home runs, 8 ribs, and 6 runs. So talked about him enough, so we'll keep it short here. But in having an elite bat type of season, 265 average, but his strikeout rate is what I'm kind of interested in to see that continue to slide here. So it actually went up last year, but it's dropping back down to the 20% range. And if you're going to hit 40 home runs and strike out 20% of the time, that's pretty darn good. So he could be in line a little bit, again, kind of a slowish start here, but if he finishes up strong, he could be in that 3-win season while, kind of dinking around for the first couple of months here. So we'll see how that plays out. Obviously, he hits the ball a ton, so you want to look at his plate discipline and see if there's any market improvements here. So he's still swinging at balls outside the zone, and he's making contact with them. So initially, that's gonna drive down the BABIP, but you're just making contact on balls. It's going to be, for the most part, weak contact. So anyways, Pete Alonso, whoops. One of these days I'll move that side of the screen over far enough to accommodate these guys. So you can see that is PSA 10s. This is the Chrome dropping just a little bit here. So you kind of have that $55 area, it looks like, and 45 is maybe your downside, could go down to $40 here. And if we start looking at the A's, a big pop, this could be the there it is. So initial I don't know if this is an announcement on Home Run Derby. I think the Home Run Derby was a little bit after that, or maybe that is a Derby pop. But again, it's going to come down to a level where there's more buying, and it looks like that $5 area may be close enough. Again, he's having a good season here, people. So Rafi Devers also having a good season, and and a young player that's on a very good track. So 6 for 29, 4 home runs, 8 ribs, 6 runs scored. And for the season, he's already a 4-win player for the season. He could finish up 6 or 7, which is maybe not going to get MVP done this year when you look at what Vlad and Ohtani are doing, but this is amazing stuff here. That is a high-level player, and he's just 24 years old, coming up on 25, but he's had a couple seasons where he's been a 6-win player already. Or not a couple seasons, but he's had one season, and he's doing that again. So 25 years old with 12 WAR. This is a very, very interesting long-term track. You know, can he stay healthy? Can he produce at this 5-win level for a few more years before he starts to drop off, you know, around early to mid 30s? He's going to have strong consideration. So there's a long way to go on that one, but he's doing everything he can right now, and he's doing it well. I'm a big fan of Rafi Devers, continue to be. You can see there's a quick hit down here, and so between 70 and 80 bucks, you can see his PSA 10 is catching some attention here. And over on CardLadder, I think CardLadder, the eBay sales. There was a consolidation that it broke down. I think that quickly corrected itself. We'll look at him closer next week. But the StarStock A, again, this is the Chrome. You're kind of in that range, and you might be able to get a bit lower price. But if you do, and you don't have some Rafi Devers, you may want to strongly consider him. Dalton Varsho, this was a name that was thrown around quite a bit in the preseason. Most of it was because he was an outfielder with catcher eligibility, so the fantasy guys are going nuts for that. A catcher that plays every day, wow, and steals some bases. 9 for 24, 3 home runs, 8 ribs, and 7 runs scored. He's actually homered in his last 3 games, so he should be catching some attention here. So, but you're looking at a 25-year-old that's just coming up, and so he needs to start producing like right away here if he's going to have some hobby relevance. So we'll see how that plays out. But he does have a rookie in the 2021 Series 1, and prices holding in that 10-cent area and exploding to 50 cents. And I don't know that you chase it. Just go buy a pack. You'll probably get them. There's enough of them out there. So Jorge Polanco, my Twins. He had a good week. It's not helping my Twins at all, but 12 for 35. That's pretty good. A couple home runs, 6 ribbies, and 5 runs scored. So 28-year-old with 10 wins to his name. If you're a Twins fan, have some fun. He's had good seasons in the past, but as far as hobby relevant, you shouldn't have much. You shouldn't put too much into it. But again, if you're a fan, have at it. So I like Jorge Polanco just fine, but I'm probably not going to spend too much money on him. So one player that I wanted to cover who's having a lousy couple of games, but since his trade on 5/22, May 22nd, Willy Adames has been tearing up the league. And in terms of wins above replacement and weighted runs created, he's about the second best shortstop in the league. So maybe keep him on your radar. Only Fernando Tatis has been better. So Willy Adames, he's a 25-year-old with about 10 to 12 wins. Let's see. I looked at it and now I forgot. So 25 years old with 8 wins. So it's like, all right, what if he's been up for 4 years, but what if he'd only been up for 2 years and was putting up 4-win seasons? He could do that this year. So keep him on your radar. Good thing I didn't post this. I was looking at some things last night. And looking at that $2 area, it's like, it looks like that's a little bit too much too quick. And the next sale registered yesterday and posted this morning. It's like, okay, good. But it's coming into an area where there has been some buying in that 80 cents a dollar area. So again, that's interesting enough. He's really changed things, lowered his strikeout rate, and nothing that he's doing is unsustainable. He's going to be a bit streaky, as we're finding out. But Willy Adames maybe a guy for your radar here. Marcus Stroman had himself a nice week as well. 8 innings pitched, wins, 7 strikeouts, and no runs scored. 30 years old with 18 WAR to his name, so he's had some productive years. But as far as hobby relevance, there's not even a lot of stuff of his on StarStock, so don't pay too much for it, is the bottom line on that one. And Sean Manaea, who's way older than I thought he was, 29 years old with 10 wins to his name, so even less relevance probably than Marcus Stroman. All right, a couple of names to finish up here. I've just got 3 things here. And our good friend Triggerfinger reached out in the comments and said, hey, would you mind taking a look at a couple names? And I'm happy to do that. I'm very flattered that he would give a crap about what I think on these. So I'm going to do my very best to give my honest opinion. And we'll start that off with Brandon Lau, 27 years old. And if you remember in 2019, he came up and he was the Rookie of the Year favorite for the first half of the season. He got hurt. Yordan Alvarez maybe would have taken it anyways, but it was definitely Yordan Alvarez after Brandon Lau was out of the hunt here. And last year, in the first half of the season, he was an MVP candidate. His numbers were inflated, looking for some regression. He did fall off quite a bit, but he's shown the potential to be among the best players in the league. And so we're just waiting for him to put that together for the entire season. This year he's got 21 home runs, sitting at about 2.5 WAR, so he could finish up nearly 4 WAR, which is a pretty darn solid player. He's a little bit older than you like to see for something like that. That average is very low. That BABIP is very low. So we had him in our regression video as a player that could have positive regression with a caveat, and we'll go over that again really quickly here. Striking out 30% of the time. We know that his skill set lies in barreling up the ball. He's one of the best to do that. He can lift the ball and put it out of the yard. So very, very good at that. But his batted ball profile, hits a lot of fly balls, but his hard hit rate has really declined. And so one of the things that one of the reasons for that is plate discipline. He's swinging at a lot of balls outside of the zone, but now he's connecting with those balls outside of the zone, which leads to weaker contact. So there are some structural things with Brandon Lau right now. So you look at, you can't just look at, just like you can't just look at batting average and say, it's good or bad. You have to look under the hood a little bit with BABIP. And with BABIP, you have to look under the hood just a little bit further. And is it something where he's truly getting unlucky? Or is there something structural and he's not hitting the ball hard enough consistently and he's chasing balls outside the zone? So if he can fix that, then again, he can be that 35 home run player, 260 average, which is well more than serviceable. So his cards right now sitting in that dollar speculation area. So if he starts to put together and has a hot streak, you'll see these things jump, and there's probably some money to be made. So it's at that Chrome's at that dollar speculation. That seems to be kind of a floor for people that have done something or are able to do something. And even more interesting, if you want to speculate even further, I'm with you, Trigger. His Chrome Sapphire autographs you can get for like $30 or $35. So those are available relatively cheaply, even the gold Chrome autos as well. So I like Brandon Lau as well. I think he's got the capability to put it over to do something good, and he's certainly shown it in the past. Let's see if he can do it again. And he also wanted me to look at Bo Bichette here. And honestly, he's a star. He's performing at a star level. He's a very young player. He's doing everything you want from a young player right now. So if you have the opportunity, basically acquire Bo Bichette. Don't think too hard about it, because injury is really the only thing keeping him from, over the next couple of years, being among the elite shortstop, among the elite at the shortstop position. So you can see that his cards right now starting to tick up just a little bit, but they're at a very, very low level here. The S&P, or excuse me, S&P. No, I'm not talking stocks today. The StarStock B, it rhymes at least, around $5 or whatever. So if we look at the CardLadder stuff, downtrend continues, but it's at a pretty low level. And so is he cheap or inexpensive? I mean, his cards are inexpensive, but are they cheap? You have to compare him to like the Lou Bobs and Jordans, guys that came up with them, have the same similar card, similar experience in the league. He's a little bit younger, so maybe he could be valued just a bit higher than those guys, but they're all trading kind of in that $40-$50 range as well. So I think the cards are maybe fairly valued, but what you have to think about is going forward over the next couple of years, if he can maintain what he's doing now, there should be a lot of potential in his cards. And yes, I'm a fan, and I am absolutely looking for more Bo Bichette. All right, the last thing. We'll leave Mr. Bo Bichette up here. And the last name that Trigger wanted me to look at, he was shy about asking about this, but if you've seen him in the comments, you know that he does have a bit of a kind of a borderline obsession, man crush, call it what you will, about this player. And I think we'll help him get through this together here. So we'll just go over this playa real quickly for Trigger here. I know that again, he wanted it. He'll deny it, but he does like this. And so this is one of the most prolific players of all time, and of course that's Lando Calrissian. And so got to look at this from a collectibles perspective here. So Lando debuted with in the Empire Strikes Back, and his first appearance in the Kenner card was the Empire Strikes Back card that came out just before the movie did in 1980. And there were a couple versions of Lando. This is the Return of the Jedi version, but I don't know if you can see it there. He's got his pearly whites, and there was a paint application error. So in the Empire Strikes Back early on, there were no paint applications on his teeth or his eyes, and so you didn't have the white paint, and so we call it Lando with or without smile. So if you're ever seeing these things loose, and you want to know which one came first, the one without a smile was the figure that came first. So Return of the Jedi saw another release of Lando, trying to take the glare off of that, and this is Lando in his skiff guard disguise, and so that's the figure that they. The first variation, and they just called him Lando's Skiff Guard disguise. They didn't have any better name for him until a few years later. Lucasfilm gave him the canon name Tamtel Screech, and if you rearrange the letters, it's an anagram for Mattel Jerks. And so apparently there was no love lost between Lucasfilm and the folks over at Mattel. And finally, in 1985, Kenner's last. We got massive glare here, so there it is. Kenner's last line of vintage Star Wars figures from the movies. Was only 17 figures. There were a lot more that were intended to be made, but the line was kind of dying at that point. And so Lando in General Disguise was one of the figures that made the cut. And you can see that he finally has a awesome cape befitting of one of the galaxy's most suave men. So, all right, that's what I got for you. Trigger, you're welcome, buddy. I'm happy to help out anytime. I appreciate you asking so nicely, and that approach is going to work every time. It works every time. So, all right, guys, have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.